What's up, YouTube? Right, just a quick message to put out. I did do the live stream on touching on the Dublin Racing Festival on Facebook last night. Hopefully some of you caught up with that. I did touch on plenty of horses, so if you want to check that out. Also, you're going to get the Cheltenham Festival preview, where I did put out a bet that I'm going to give you now. Just an angle into Cheltenham. These are not my final selections in all races, but as a bit of a fun bet that could pay big if things went to plan. So every year in Cheltenham, there's always a story with like a good trainer comes to the fore, a jockey comes to the fore, an owner, and it can tend to have a good festival. And I've been looking at 6 horses trained by Henry the Bromhead. Most of them are going to go straight to Cheltenham, which that helps when you're taking anti-post prices. Now, like I said, these are not all my final picks in these races, but sometimes when if a trainer peaks their horses for a meeting, just magic can happen. One after the other can run really well. So it's the type of bet that even if a couple won and a few placed, it would bring a nice return. So let's just start it off. So in the Supreme Novices Hurdle, there's a horse called Workhead. Now, Workhead is a nice horse. He won well on debut. He travelled, or not on debut, on his second start. He travelled well, he jumped well, and he beat a nice horse in William Money. Now, is he good enough to win the Supreme? I'm not too sure at this point, but he's 40 to 1 and he's definitely... he's 14 to 1 and he's definitely a live chance. Then we move on to the Brown Advisory. He has a horse called Gorgeous Tom. So Gorgeous Tom is interesting. I think he's going to go straight here. He will step up and trip. Would have an each way outside chance for sure, around 25 to 1. Then I think one of his best horses of the festival is the mare in the Albert Bartlett, the Big Westerner. She's around the 7 to 1 shot now, so definitely very interesting horse. She'll get £7 off the boys, and she's very talented, so I think she could win the Albert Bartlett. And then moving on to the Ryanair Jungle Boogie, still as big as 20s and 18s in places. I think he's one of the best each way bets of the festival. I know he's an 11-year-old, and I know he goes against all stats, but he's not your typical horse. He's had only 7 runs for an 11-year-old. That's, you know, pretty much unheard of. He's won 5 from the 7. So Jungle Boogie in a Ryanair, I think he's one of the best each way bets of the whole Cheltenham Festival. Then I'll go to the Gold Cup. Obviously Monty's Star is his horse. Now he has to improve on all form, and like I said, you know, he's not my final selection in the Gold Cup as of now, but this is just the Henry the Bromhead angle that maybe he could have a big year. And then the one other one is July Flower, who is in the Mayor's Hurdle, and I believe she could go off favourite because the other 2 won't run, so she's 5 to 1 at the minute. And also you have Lossymouth and Brighter Days Ahead again ahead of her. So I do not see them running in the race. So just to wrap it up for you, it's 6 horses. It's a fun bet. It's just an angle that sometimes in Cheltenham, one trainer has a really big year and takes off. Henry the Bromhead has proven this many a times. He can peak his horses for the meetings. So to wrap it up, out of the 6 horses, their live chances should they get there in one piece. Who is 2 of my final selections as single bets? The Big Westerner and Jungle Boogie. They're 2 horses of Henry's I advise you to back single. But yeah, the rest, definitely little each way squeaks in all races. Now, they could go and Cheltenham could come. This is an anti-post bet. One could be a non-runner, and that goes down as a loser straight away. But the 5 other horses you have at nice prices could still rescue enough of value and save you a nice profit should they run well. Check that out. And one other horse that I thought was overpriced in Cheltenham at 10 to 1 was Jubilee Alpha. So she caught the eye of everybody in Newbury when she first started back this year, staying on really well, and then she went on and proved it was no fluke, that she looked the best horse in that race. Although she didn't win, she went on and won 2 races. Impressive. Now she's 10 to 1 with 2 bookies. Shop around, but she's an each way bet. She's rock solid, and she should run a race in the Mayor's Novice. I think form in the book stands for a lot in a novice hurdle at Cheltenham, just for experience. She's been to Aintree. She ran well in the bumper. If I was to pick a little hole in her, the new track might stretch her a little bit, but she should get the trip okay. She'll do enough right in the race, hopefully jump well to give her every chance of winning. And I think an each way bet at 10 to 1 she'd have a chance. I do have 3 gone out on the Colbert Sports Patreon service. Check that out if you want. There is a link in the description below. Yeah, I'll put 3 out. One is 6-4, one is 5-1, one is 9-2, and also I advised a little half point each way treble. There are 3 horses with live chances. Hopefully we can have a good day. Nice to have a really good start to the Patreon service relaunch of 2 winners from 4 selections. One was a 10-1 and the other was a 7-4. And the horse that lost was a horse called Velvet Skies in Dundalk the other night in the last race. But I do think he ran really well. He had a poor track position. He was last and down the inner and stuff like that. And he stayed on enough, I thought, that he would win a race soon. So put him in your notebooks as well, Velvet Skies. All right, take care and God bless. Keep following. If you want to catch the full live stream, check out the Facebook page.